There's this misnomer that somehow my thing has to be a world changer. Steve Jobs told us to leave a dent in the universe. Well, I have an HVAC company with 20 employees in Kansas. How am I going to change the world? But we would say they still have to have purpose.
Yep. And what I find for that HVAC company employer who's got 20 employees, you are impacting the lives of maybe 200 people. All of the people who depend on those employees, all of the college educations that job is going to pay for, all of the innovations those people are going to come up with on their own because their mom or dad was an employee of that company. Being an employer is inherent in that, running a small business, inherent in what you do, it is a sense of purpose, especially if you have an employee or 2 or 5 or 10, because you are actually supporting an ecosystem. And that's just incredibly powerful. I mean, that is leaving a dent in the universe as far as I'm concerned.
Right. No doubt. So the 100 founders that you've interviewed, did they all start with that sense of purpose, or is it something that maybe you develop and kind of stumble on along the way?
I think that the best businesses, and in the book, I focus on about 100 founders, but over the course of my career, I've had deep dives with almost 500 founders and CEOs, really intensive interviews that have given us just an incredible wealth of data to start to connect the dots about what are the things they do right, what are the things they do wrong. Because, by the way, the book is also a compendium of mistakes and errors. But I think that the best companies and the most successful companies, big or small, whether it's a corner store, selling groceries, or a huge organization like Starbucks, they build mission, they bake it in from the beginning. So from the very beginning, before they're a big company, mission is baked into their identity, because that's how you develop a culture that is about mission. Yeah. So whether you are making Pelotons and your mission is to make exercise accessible for everybody and to encourage people to be more healthy, or you've got an HVAC company, you have to think about your purpose and mission right from the beginning and really use that as a North Star when you're pursuing the idea and creating a culture around your idea.
Right. I love that. I think you have to have that foundational piece of purpose. In fact, I've heard in some of these conversations you've had with founders where they started a company and then they kind of stumbled and realized, this isn't really the thing. And they almost went scorched earth and said, we got to figure out our purpose, and then we're going to launch our company from the place of purpose and not so we can just have a company.
I mean, 100%. I mean, this happens all the time with businesses. One of the great examples is that I talk about in the book is Slack, right? Slack, which we're all using in the pandemic age now. But originally, Stuart Butterfield, his big dream was to start a gaming company. He was a big believer in these massive multiplayer online games, and he wanted to create the most beautiful online community of gamers. He found investors. He started this company called Glitch. They actually had a beautiful prototype that they put out. They had a business model. They put it out into the world. It was a highly sophisticated online game in 2012 when it was launched, and it flopped. It totally failed. And Stuart had to shut down the company. He had to let people go. People came from across the country to join that company. And it was one of the hardest days of his life, announcing to the team that they were done, that the business was going to fold. Well, a couple days later, as he was kind of sweeping out the office with the folks who remained there, they were talking and some of Stuart's friends had known about this internal messaging system that they had developed at Glitch for the programmers, the developers, the salespeople, the marketing people to all communicate. And they asked if they could borrow it. And it was a whispering campaign around Silicon Valley. People had heard about this software that Glitch had developed to develop the game. And it then occurred to Stuart and the 3 people left that was the product. This messaging system that they had developed to build the game was the thing. That was what they were meant to do. And that is how Slack was founded.
They discovered it along the way.
They discovered it along the way.
That's so inspiring.